This is a press briefing that is put together this afternoon to let Rivers people know the position of the government of Sir Siminalayi Fubara. I have tagged this press briefing as Rivers people facing gloomy future as uncooperative actions of Right Honorable Martin Amaewhule-led Rivers State House of Assembly impeding Governor Fubara's readiness to implement Supreme Court judgments. It is now common knowledge that members of the Right Honorable Martin Amaewhule-led Rivers State House of Assembly have by their own actions refused to allow the Governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Sir Dr. Siminalayi Fubara, GSSRS, to fully implement the judgment of the Supreme Court on the long-drawn political and legal battle that has lingered since after the ill-fated attempt to impeach him on October 30, 2023. Right from when this unjustified onslaught against Governor Fubara started, the gentleman has never left anyone in doubt about his unwavering commitment to peace and resolute determination to put Rivers people first over and above personal and or sectional interests. A few days after the Friday, February 28, 2025 shocking judgment of the Supreme Court on the consolidated cases touching on the seizure of Federation revenue allocation due the states, annulment of the credible, free, fair, and peaceful local government elections of Saturday, October 5, 2024, representation of the 2025 budget to the Right Honorable Martin Amaewhule-led Rivers State House of Assembly, and the most contentious defection issue, which was never before the Apex Court, but surprisingly, vaguely touched by the learned justices of the five-man panel. Governor Siminalayi Fubara has never left anyone in doubt about his preparedness not only to obey but fully implement the Supreme Court judgment, no matter the unfortunate and unfavorable outcome. Statewide broadcasts. In his statewide broadcast a few days after the judgment, the governor declared his acceptance of the judgment and made an unambiguous commitment to full compliance and implementation. In that broadcast, he ordered the recently duly elected local government chairman ousted by the Apex Court to immediately hand over to the heads of local government administrations. Even as he appealed to his supporters who are sad over the judgment to accept it with equanimity, the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, under the leadership of its indefatigable chairman and chief electoral officer, Honorable Justice Adolphus Enebeli, retired, in compliance with the Supreme Court verdict, convened a stakeholders meeting wherein all registered political parties in the state, non-governmental organizations, civil society organizations, the press and general public were invited to attend at their headquarters in Port Harcourt. At that stakeholders meeting, the electoral umpire set the ball rolling for conduct of a fresh local government elections by releasing the elections timetable and elections guidelines, fixing August 9, 2025 for the exercise. This is in full compliance of the Supreme Court judgment ordering a fresh election into the third tier of government. The Rivers State House of Assembly, in a frenzy, issued a 48-hour ultimatum to the state chief executive to represent the 2025 budget. But observers who are knowledgeable in legislative procedures saw this Rivers State House of Assembly's action as an aberration, an abuse of legislative duties and privileges. While Rivers people were yet to digest the unfolding drama, the Right Honorable Amaewhule-led House issued another 48-hour ultimatum to the chairman of RISEC, the highly respected retired Justice Enebeli, who was appointed RESEC chairman by the former governor of the state and current FCT minister, Chief Barrister Nyesom Ezenwo-Wike. They followed this bizarre action up with the issuance of a warrant of arrest of the gentleman and commissioners of RESEC. Not done with that, they declared the appointment of 19 commissioners by Governor Fubara as illegal, prompting the affected commissioners to drag Amaewhule and his colleagues to court. As if they are bent on fighting at all fronts, these lawmakers who should be settling to the business of lawmaking for the good governance of Rivers State accused the Chief Judge of Rivers State, Honorable Justice Simeon Chibuzo Amadi, of age falsification, even inviting the operatives of DSS to investigate him instead of reporting him to the Nigerian Judicial Council, the only authorized body responsible for investigation and discipline of judicial officers across the Federation. Extension of invitation by Governor Siminalayi Fubara to Right Honorable Martin Amaewhule-led House for a meeting in the Government House. In order to pave the way for rapprochement for the smooth operations of the executive and legislative arms of government, the governor, through a letter by the Secretary to the State Government, Chief Dr. Barrister Tami Wenike-Danagogo, invited the Martin Amaewhule-led Rivers State House of Assembly to the Government House for a meeting. This meeting was intended to, among other things, discuss issues such as 2025 budget presentation, payment of accumulated arrears of legislators' salaries and allowances, arrangement to provide a more suitable venue for the conduct of legislative businesses of the House. To the surprise of every right-thinking person, members of the Rivers State House of Assembly rebuffed the governor's invitation cum overture, even chiding him for routing the letter through the SSG. It is on record that the SSG, by his status, is in a position to issue or originate such administrative correspondence on behalf of the State Chief Executive. In his characteristic manner of humility, simplicity, and sincerity of purpose, His Excellency Sir Dr. Siminalayi Fubara personally issued and signed a letter addressed to the Right Honorable Martin Amaewhule, Speaker of the House, formally notifying him and unambiguously indicating his intention to come before the honorable members of the state legislature to lay the 2025 budget before them on Wednesday, March 12, 2025 for consideration. He followed this up by making phone calls to the Honorable Speaker. Sadly, Governor Fubara, accompanied by government officials, were denied access into the legislative quarters where the Assembly members currently hold their sitting on the appointed day, that is Wednesday, March 12, 2025. He had to adjust his itinerary for project commissioning of the remodeled zonal hospital in Bori to keep faith with that appointment. It is worrisome to hear the lawmakers alleging that Governor Fubara did not communicate properly, falsely claiming that his letter to them was only read on social media. Haba. Governor Fubara's letter for representation of budget on Wednesday, March 19, and House announcement of vacation sine die. Just last Friday, March 14, 2025, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, in keeping with his resolve to do the needful, sent another letter personally signed by him to the House Speaker, Right Honorable Amaewhule, again to notify him and members of the House under his leadership, indicating his plan to come to represent the 2025 budget to them on Wednesday, March 19, 2025 by 10 a.m. or any other day that may be convenient to the House in compliance with the Supreme Court verdict in order to keep the wheel of government of the state running. In a letter dated 13th March 2025, Governor Fubara again requested to present the budget to the Assembly on that same Wednesday as proposed. Regrettably, the State House of Assembly refused to receive and acknowledge the letter. A courier company which was engaged to deliver the letter, also returned it with a report that it was rejected at the assembly quarters where the members currently sit. I have the video of that event. Yet, the narrative from the Rivers State House of Assembly is that Governor Fubara has refused to present the budget. Although it is tempting to ignore false narratives in the social media that Governor Fubara has refused to take steps to present the budget to the Assembly, we cannot ignore the press briefing by the chairman of the House Committee on Information, Dr. Enemi George, alleging that the governor is frustrating the implementation of the Supreme Court judgment, particularly the directive requiring him to present the 2025 appropriation bill to the lawmakers. Following the refusal by the Assembly to receive and acknowledge the governor's letter, delivered by the government officials and the courier company, the Rivers State government took the initiative of publishing the letter in 2 national newspapers. I have them here. One is The Nation, the other is Guardian, all of Friday's publication. Dr. Enemi George also challenged the governor to produce an acknowledgement copy of the letter under reference. We cannot produce an acknowledgement copy because the Assembly rejected the letter from the governor. We cannot, however, refer all parties to the substituted means of service in the Nation and in the Guardian. The Rivers State governor is acting in good faith, notwithstanding the false narratives that are being peddled by the same people frustrating compliance with the judgment of the court. To the chagrin of all right-thinking persons, the Assembly members announced that it was proceeding on vacation and legislative activities adjourned sine die. By adjourning sine die, the lawmakers suddenly have realized that they have shown too much evidence of the fact that their target is to stall development of the state and punish the people of the state for the unprecedented solidarity and support he's enjoying in spite of the orchestrated political upheavals. What they have tried to do to remedy the unreasonable decision of adjourning sine die is to accuse the governor of not doing enough to implement the Supreme Court judgments. Unfortunately, such tactics have failed, as the people of Rivers State now know that this is an afterthought aimed at covering their plans. It is rather a face-saving attempt, deceptive, and a pointer that the interest of the state is not part of their consideration. Consequences and harsh reality of ROSHA's action on Rivers people vis-a-vis running of the government. It is glaringly clear that with the current actions of the House, the dire consequences and harsh realities that the civil servants, retirees, and people of the state will face unimaginable economic hardships, as the government will be unable to pay salaries, pensions, and other emoluments, as well as perform other obligations at the end of the month, as both the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Accountant General of the Federation have been ordered to cease revenue allocations to the state until its judgment is fully implemented. The collateral damages of the actions of legislative arm of government in Rivers State will be so severe as non-release of warehoused revenue due to the state from the Federation account will ultimately ground the operations of all sectors of the government. An appeal for a rethink by Rivers State House of Assembly. Instead of embarking on a futile image laundry by members of the Rivers State House of Assembly by wrongly claiming that Governor Siminalayi Fubara, who by all intents and purposes is prepared, willing and ready to represent the 2025 budget and carry out full implementation of all aspects of the bizarre and utterly controversial judgment of the Apex Court for the sake of peace, is being misrepresented and painted in bad color as not ready to comply with the judgment. Should this opportunity to pull the state from the precipice fail, the people and residents of the state without exception are bound to suffer avoidable calamities of economic, social, and political upheavals. that might sink us deeper into unimaginable crisis. A stitch in time saves 9. That's the end.